Hey guys, welcome back to another IGTV video. In today's video, I'm going to touch on the real basics and I guess the outline of a 12-week training program and what to look for and how to sort of structure that. All right, but without getting into too much detail, this is kind of the overarching theme and how to kind of start to map out your 12-week block. All right, so first thing to know is each 12-week block is broken up into 3 4-week training phases or 4 3-week training phases. Again, client dependent, but basically each phase has a different focus and a different strategy behind it. All right. The way we do our phases is they will jump from an accumulation phase to an intensification phase, back to accumulation, and so on. All right. So the basics of these are an accumulation phase focuses on more overall training volume, moderate weight, so we're not trying to break any strength records here. We're not hitting 1RMs or anything like that. A lot of supersets and trisets to get that training volume up with a bit of metabolic work. So things like your sleds, your ropes, things to get your heart rate up a little bit more. And some examples of accumulation training programs are push-pull leg, which I'm sure we've all heard of, hitting every muscle group twice. That's, training volume is quite high there. A heavy light, which is basically a superset style workout. You're hitting an exercise for sort of reps 6 to 8 roughly, so relatively heavy, and then supersetting that with something a little bit lighter, as the name suggests. So you might go like a deadlift 6 to 8 into a lone leg curl 15 to 20, or something like that. We've got 8, 8, 16, 6, 12, 25, which again are tricep methods, and something I've spoken about on my Instagram before. Again, pretty high training volume there. And a DUP kind of falls into both camps. So basically daily undulated periodization is what that stands for. And that can be chopped and changed to fit whatever phase. So it's basically a different training stimulus each workout over the course of a week. All right. And we shift over to intensification. So it is pretty much what it sounds like. It is, we're looking for heavier weight, we're looking for intensity. Our overall training volume is going to be lower, with a real strength focus and really trying to push your weights. All right, so you're not getting smashed with as much volume, not as many supersets, trisets, that kind of thing. Focus here is on strength progression, and some examples of that are a wave load, which is a strength-based program, which I've spoken about on here before. Functional hypertrophy is sort of 6 to 8 rep range. So again, where those reps are coming down more towards a typical strength range there, and as I just mentioned, DUP falls into this category as well. You might program something like an upper strength day, a lower strength day, and then upper hypertrophy, lower hypertrophy, something like that. So that's only 4 days, so volume is quite low, but we're hitting on the strength focus in those first 2 days. All right, so they're the basic how each phase is set out and what we're looking for in each phase, and the importance of jumping between the two, because if you're wanting to get strong, just hanging around that 3 to 5 rep range all the time without doing a heap of accessory work or giving your body a bit of a break, you're probably going to find you plateau pretty quickly. So again, it's being able to understand when that's happening, maybe switching back to intense accumulation for a little bit, working on some weaknesses, and then coming back into that intensification phase. And then just quickly, a few things you need to consider. Obviously, the first are pretty self-explanatory, goal specific. This kind of links in with programming backwards. So this example of if you're trying to squat 100 kilos, for example, you need to work out your plan of attack backwards. So if you've got 100 kilos here, you're currently doing 80. What do you need to do in those 3 or 4 training blocks or more in order to get there? All right, so programming backwards, what exercises you need to do to bring up weaknesses, posture issues, whatever it might be. All right, so again, goal specific, program backwards. Progressive overload, shouldn't even need to touch on this, but basically recording and tracking your weight, sets, reps, total volume each week. Again, if you're not progressing each workout or progressing each week, you're essentially wasting your time. All right, so either upping your weight, doing an extra rep, doing an extra set, all these things add up long term. And again, the importance of tracking your weights in the gym. These two are kind of intertwined, so something that fits your lifestyle and stress, and taking into account stress. So if you've got someone that works full time, they might work a weekend day, and they've got a family, and they're a pretty pretty stressed person, giving them a workout that they need to come to the gym 6 times a week may not work the best. If they're already super stressed, smashing them with volume and making them stress over getting to the gym that many times a week is probably going to be more detrimental than good. All right, so reading a person's lifestyle or your own lifestyle, if their stress is super high, backing off on the volume a little bit, getting them to focus on improving their habits and getting that stress down a bit before then maybe attacking an intensification phase. All right, so everyone's different. This is where, again, I talked about the other day, but no cookie cutter bullshit. Don't just give someone a 6-day plan who's super stressed, got a family, works just about every day, and give that same program to then someone who's got a heap of time during the day. They love the gym, that is their stress relief, and they love being in there. They will react and do better on that than someone that has these issues. So again, just got to know your client or know yourself, and try and find that medium that you're going to get the best results from. Obviously injuries, if you've got a shitty lower back, for example, like I do, programming super heavy deadlifts and super heavy squats or barbell back squats probably isn't going to be very beneficial to me. So you might spend more time in an accumulation phase for your leg days, building up your core, building up your glutes, working through a heap of different rep ranges before you jump back into those bigger movements. So just because you can't deadlift or squat or do those really big movements doesn't mean you can't grow your legs or get stronger. You just need to be smart about it. Program backwards I've touched on, and calories is the last one. Again, jumping into a real heavy base strength program with someone that's on a weight loss goal and is eating 1,200 calories a day probably isn't going to be the best move. So they're probably going to be better suited to a high volume to try and get that weight off, and then as you're building their calories back up, they've got more energy, they've got more carbohydrates at their disposal, and they may then fare better on a strength program. So again, just being aware of what someone is consuming and how to structure their training around that. All right, so that's why I'm going to wrap this up. Keep this one a bit shorter than the other day. They are the real basics of how to set out a 12-week program, some things there to take into consideration. And if you guys have any questions on this or would like some help with your programming, feel free to send me a message or leave a comment below. And yeah, until next video, I'll catch you guys then.